Thursday. This is Reverend Don Lewis, and normally when you tune into Tarot Thursday, you would expect to see Reverend Mary Hawk here as your host, but tonight she's unable to be here, and I am taking the evening for her. I hope that we will have just as much fun as you would have otherwise. As you know, if you're interested in having a reading, you can say as much on whatever platform you happen to be watching on, and it will show up here in the chat room. And I'll be happy to do a small reading for you if you have a particular question or just want a general reading using the Tarot of Hecate, which is the base of the Infinite Tarot, and we'll have a fine time. And until someone has a question, I will simply, I guess, talk a bit about tarot. I've been a professional tarot reader most of my life. I've had many adventures in tarot, and tarot is a fascinating subject. There are so many different kinds of tarot cards, so many different styles, and this goes back to the very beginning of tarot cards. Early tarot cards, of course, were made by hand, and they were made by artists who created each deck as a one-of-a-kind deck. The advent of the printing press really helped the cards to take off, and they created replicable versions of the tarot. But one-of-a-kind versions continue to be created and even are still created occasionally today. But over the years, there came to be many different styles. And hello to Rita in the chat room, and Rita asks, should I accept the job offer from the place that I used to work at? Well, let's shuffle up the cards and draw a few. And hello to Lynn in the chat room. Good to see you again. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start by drawing 3 cards. And, perhaps we'll draw more. We'll see what they say. So our question is, should Rita take the job offer from the place that they formerly worked at? And our first card is the 8 of Swords, followed by the 2 of Cups, followed by the 4 of Lamps. So I'm going to tell you what they say, and you know your situation, I do not. They may have a meaning for you that I would not see, and then we'll draw 3 more. The first card, the 8 of Swords, suggests that you are feeling held back, perhaps even somewhat imprisoned by circumstances. What I'm not certain of is in this place you formerly worked, or where you are now, that you perhaps don't feel that you can do everything you would want to do. With it is the 2 of Cups, which is the help or advice of another person, and the 4 of Lamps, which is looking for new directions and new beginnings. So I would say that you are probably looking for new directions to help free up your life. And I would wonder if there's another person involved, because you formerly worked here, if there is a personal connection involved. And I would say that it actually doesn't look bad to me, but let's draw 3 more. We have the 2 of Wands, the 9 of Cups, and the King of Coins. So I would say that our first 3 cards kind of speak to where you are, which is wanting more freedom, wanting perhaps greater challenge in a positive way, and receiving opportunity from another person that you know. These cards, I think, speak more to the job itself. We have first the 2 of Wands, which is new beginnings and new directions. We have the King of Pentacles or Coins, which represents the ability to make money, which says that it could be a good situation prosperity-wise. And in the middle, we have the 9 of Cups. And the 9 of Cups is both the best card in the deck and the worst card in the deck in the same card, depending on your personal clarity. because this is the wish card, and it means that what you wish for is what you will receive. So if you're looking for a good, successful situation, and this is also your expectation, this will pay off for you beautifully. And I would say absolutely take it. If on the other hand, you have bad feelings toward that former job, then I would think twice and examine your motivations and make sure that you're really looking at this as a positive thing. If you are, then I think it will be positive. And I'm going to draw one more card for you. And we've drawn the Queen of Swords. The Queen of Swords says that in evaluating this, as we just discussed, you want to look at what has already transpired, what has happened, what your feelings are about that place you used to work, because probably it will be as it was. The Queen of Swords is learning from past experience, because past experience in this instance is a good sign for the future. So if it was a good experience, yes, you should absolutely take it. If it was a bad experience, you need to look at why and how you might change that, but you must expect that whatever problems were there will still be there, whatever good was there will still be there. And so I would say that the answer, to me, looks pretty good, but it does depend on how you feel about that place of employment. Now, Cherry says, good evening, Reverend Don. I have so many questions tonight, but I think a general guidance reading would be best. So let us shuffle the cards back up. Rita says, thank you so much. Thank you, Rita. And I'm glad that was good. And so now we're going to do a general reading for Cherry. And for a change, you can actually see me shuffling my cards. This is my preferred way to shuffle. When I started reading, most people shuffled their tarot cards the same way as shuffle playing cards. I've never done that, partly because I've never been good at it, and partly because my fear was it would damage the cards, which I believe it can. But I've always shuffled them this way. So once again, and hello to Sean in the chat room, and hello to Samantha in the chat room. We're going to start with 3 cards. And that's almost always what I do. Our first card is the future, one of those cards that's unique to the Tarot of Hecate, followed by the 5 of Swords, followed by the Hanged Man. And hello to Aiden in the chat room. So this is a general reading. And of course, we're going to draw more than 3 cards. But the first card, the future, as you can see, is a man with artificial wings. And this is a reference to the Greek myth of Daedalus and Icarus. And the man may be Daedalus or he may be Icarus. It's a matter of what he does. Icarus famously flew too close to the sun and the wings melted. Daedalus did not and landed safely. So I would say that what you need to watch in the coming 6 months is to make sure that you're being practical, that you are working within what is reasonable for you, not trying to do too much all at once. With that, we have the 5 of Swords, which suggests to me that you will in fact be trying to do too much at once, and you may feel that things aren't going as well as they might. If you're having that feeling, I would say step back some of the things that you're doing, and it will be better. And hello to Diane in the chat room. Do not take on more than you can chew. And then we have the Hangman, which is a period of waiting and development. So it kind of says this period, you're going to learn a lot during this period. You could gain a great deal, but you're going to feel like you're kind of in a holding pattern. Like the things you're wanting to do are not going to be moving forward as you would want them to move forward. They actually are moving forward, but it may not feel that way. And again, If you find that things are overwhelming you, if you find that things are not going as well as you would like, scale back your level of endeavor to a more practical level, because I think you may be trying to do too much. Now we have Temperance, the Ace of Lamps, and the Ace of Wands, and that's interesting, 2 aces at the same time. And these are our cards, and Temperance is creating something new out of disparate things. So what are you going to find yourself doing in this 6 months? So you're really creating a new situation for yourself out of your existing situations, but it may not feel like it's moving quickly. And again, I would say, don't worry about feeling like it's moving quickly. Let it take the time it wants to take. But if you're not feeling good about it, you may be trying to do too much, or you may be trying to push it too fast. Just slow down, be practical, it will be better. It's followed by the Ace of Lamps, which is spiritual guidance. So you want to listen to your spiritual guidance, and you want to realize that you may also be finding yourself having a bit of a psychic opening during this time, and that's not always an easy thing. It's an exciting thing, it can be an enjoyable thing, but it brings its own challenges. And so I would look for psychic growth and psychic opening during this time, and that's part of why things may not be moving as quickly as you would like in the physical realm, because they're moving faster inside. And you're going to find yourself feeling very passionate about that. You really would like things to move faster, but let them take their time. It's moving as it should. Now I'm going to draw one more card for you. And we've drawn, well, we may draw more than one card, but we've drawn again the Eight of Swords. The Eight of Swords is feeling held back. So I think that my main message for you in this general reading is that you would really like things to move faster. You would like them to develop quicker, but you have to let them take their time. And you may feel held back while that's happening, but be patient. It is moving forward, changes are happening, and let me draw one more card. And I've drawn the Four of Swords and the Princess of Swords, and they both together kind of say the same thing. It's going to take the time it's going to take, and you want to want to allow it to take what it needs. If you rush it, it will not be as good. So be patient, be practical. It'll be fine. It's just taking its time. And hello to Matthew in the chat room. And Matthew says, "Good evening, Lord Don. Hope you are well right now. I'm curious as to getting a general reading if possible, please, and thank you." So we'll do a general reading from Matthew. And of course, if you're interested in getting a reading from me and you'd like a full-length reading, you can do that by contacting me at donlewishp@aol.com or instant messaging me on Facebook or Instagram. And hello to Fluffy in the chat room, who says, "I hope you're doing good." I am doing good. I am doing quite well, thank you. Getting ready for Parliament. And once again, we'll start with 3 cards, and we'll go from there. And I sometimes tell the story of how I learned this particular style of reading. Back in the days when I worked for J&M Psychic Fairs, or actually before J&M, when I worked for D&H Psychic Fairs, they required each psychic to give a lecture to the attendees as a kind of advertising, and also for education. And different psychics did different things. I, at that time, was quite young and not really accustomed to public speaking. And I saw other people doing what they called quickie readings, which was 3-card readings. And I decided to do the same. And hello to Renee in the chat room. It's good to see you, Renee. And I found actually that I like this style of reading better than more complex styles. So for Matthew, Our first card is the Ace of Swords, which says that as you go forward in this next few months, you're going to have a very important decision about where your life is going. And you may feel emotional about that decision. It may bring up a number of emotions that, well, that may be difficult to deal with. And you also have the Three of Lamps, which is working with other people in a successful and a political way. Although when we say political, we mean in terms of working with people in ways that require compromise and diplomacy. Now, what is that decision? Let us draw a card for that. And they've given us Temperance. And basically, it really represents creating new situations for yourself that will better fit the needs that you have in life. Now, let us draw 3 more cards. We've drawn the Six of Lamps, the King of Cups, and the Magus. And so as you go forward, as you make that decision, as you create those new situations, you want to be guided by Spirit. You want to allow your higher self to lead you, your spirit guides, your patron deity, however you work with higher powers. You want to listen to those. But you're going to be very happy. The King of Cups is a card of happiness, and you're going to find that you're very happy with the changes that you make. And the Magus says that actually, in making those changes and developing those different situations in your life, you can do almost anything you want to do. It's all there to be done. You just have to choose and focus, and if you do, you'll be successful. I'm going to draw 1 more card for Matthew. And we've drawn the Lovers, which again represents a choice. It'll be a choice between 2 roads. You cannot really do both, but you'll be happy with the one you choose. And because what the cards have shown is creating new situations, I would assume that this choice is probably between staying as things are and changing them. And changing them is what you should do. I'm going to draw 1 more card for it. And I've drawn the Five of Wands, and the Five of Wands says that you will probably have a lot of inner conflict as you're making that choice. But once you've made it, you'll be very happy. And again, if the choice is between staying where you are and making changes, the changes are what will bring happiness. And Charity in the chat room says, "Thank you, Reverend Don. Something I want to slow down seems to be moving faster than I wish. And the thing I wish was faster is at a standstill. Thank you so much. I do need more patience." Thank you, Charity. And hello to Arlie in the chat room. And hello to Deb in the chat room. It's good to see you. And Fluffy has asked for a general reading. So we'll do Fluffy next. And Fluffy, of course, is also a reader, which makes it very interesting to read for Fluffy. Of course, I'm sure many of the people watching may also be readers. It's not uncommon for readers to read for other readers. And Matthew says, thank you very much. This does very much ring true. So I'm currently going through a bit of a change in my life that I did not expect. I'm glad that it rings true. Thank you for letting me know that, Matthew. And there is happiness in the future. And so let us draw 3 cards for Fluffy. And our first card is the Soul. Our second card is the Two of Lamps. And a third card has fallen out. And I was always taught that when a card falls out during a reading, you didn't draw it, but it comes out anyway. It means it wanted to be there. And we've drawn the Hierophant. And then the final card is the Ten of Cups. So let's start with the Two of Lamps. The Two of Lamps is creation of new situations. And I think in a lot of ways, Fluffy may find himself with many new things happening in this next 6 months, but maybe not being entirely sure how to handle all of them. But with the Soul card, it's saying to listen to your higher self and to do those things that answer to your inner self. Of course, you have to take care of the outer self, but you want to take care of your soul. You want to take care of that inner self that needs to be fed, that younger self, that creative self. Make sure you're doing that. The Hierophant is another card saying, listen to that higher voice. Allow Spirit to guide you, and you will find that you really have no question. And the Ten of Cups is happiness. And it says that this will basically be a happy time and a happy situation for you. And let's draw 3 more cards for Fluffy. And the first card is the Six of Wands, which is victory. And it means just what it sounds like, being in a good, strong, victorious situation. So Fluffy, I would think that you should find yourself going through this 6 months in a good place. With it is the veil, and the veil is unnecessary worry. If you let everything be good, it's going to be good. Don't let worry creep in. And if it does, dismiss it, because everything will be good. With this card, you may find yourself tempted to worry, but it's about things you don't need to be worrying about. Let the good things happen. And then we have the Emperor, and the Emperor to me is cycles. Sometimes we're in a period of growth, sometimes we're in a period of retreat, and life always goes back and forth. It always goes up and down. That's only natural. It looks to me like this is a period of going up. But remember, as you go up, you also come back down. So make sure you prepare for that. Make sure that you're being sensible and practical. Let's draw 1 more card for Fluffy. And that card is the Four of Cups. And the Four of Cups says, enjoy the good things you have. Now, there may be things you'd like to have that aren't there, but there's plenty of good. And so enjoy that good and take stock of that. And again, don't worry about what doesn't need to be worried about. Don't borrow trouble from the future, as they say. And now, Arlie has asked, will I travel in August to the USA? And let us see what the cards say about this. And hello to Beverly in the chat room. Good to see you, Beverly. And Fluffy says, thank you. This makes quite a bit of sense. It's quite helpful. Thank you, Fluffy. And our question is, will Arlie travel to the US in August? And we shall draw 3 cards. And our first card is the Princess of Lamps. Our second card is the Eight of Lamps. And our third card is the Six of Lamps. And you saw me shuffling this deck. You've seen me shuffle it again and again. So getting 3 lamps is obviously what the cards want to tell us, because it's not what one would expect to come out. So what do they mean? The Princess of Lamps is magic. Work your will. I'm assuming the intention is to come. And I would take the Princess of Lamps to say yes, but you may need to be focused on it. You may even need to do a little magic in its direction if there's any question. But this is a card of working your will, so I would say yes, I would expect that you will come. Eight of Lamps, also a card of spiritual enlightenment. and spiritual power and success. Again, I would say, yes, I would think that you will make that trip. And the Six of Lamps is again spiritual guidance. Because all these cards are lamps, I would wonder if you're coming for spiritual reasons. I think you'll certainly have a spiritual effect from the trip. But will you come? Yes, I think absolutely. I'd be surprised if you didn't. I'm going to draw one more card. We've drawn the Eight of Cups. And this is another one of those cards that deal with unnecessary worry. I think you may find yourself worrying about whether you're going to be able to make the trip, but I would say you really don't need to. And if you look at the card, you can see that the man is being terrorized by phantoms. But they're only phantoms. What they mean is what's inspiring his fear is just a phantom. It cannot really hurt him. And the same in this. If you find yourself worrying about whether you can make this trip, it won't really be a problem. I would say, don't worry. And it looks to me like it will happen, and it will be very positive. I'm going to draw one more, because I can't help myself. Oh, and we've drawn another lamp, the Queen of Lamps. And the Queen of Lamps, again, is magic, working your will in the world, but also personal ability, personal strength. So I think you'll find that not only will you make this trip, not only will it have a strong spiritual meaning for you, but it will also have a lot to do with your personal strength and your personal power. And there we go. And then Blair asks if they could get a general reading. So let us do a general reading for Blair. And once again, you see me shuffling the cards. And have no doubt that they are getting nice and mixed up. I know that usually when we do this program, we're on a split screen. You can't see me shuffling the cards. I always do. And I often remark on the fact that, the cards that come up are not what you would expect after having just shuffled the deck. And we'll see what happens with Blair. But getting all those lamps in a row for Arlene, what are the odds? I don't know. Math is not my strong suit. But as you see, we're shuffling. And they still come out the way they want to come out. And that's what makes divination what it is. So for Blair, our first card is the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is being in a good, happy situation, and also an independent situation, being able to stand on your own feet and to enjoy your own happiness. With that is the Empress. The Empress is happiness, prosperity, nurturing, enough for yourself and able to provide for others. It's a very positive, very prosperous card. And with those two very positive cards is the Nine of Swords. And the Nine of Swords is called the Ghastly Nightmare card. So what I would say to Blair, so you're really in a very good situation, but whatever you're worried about, you are going to have to deal with. And again, we're talking the next 6 months. There's something that you probably don't want to have to deal with. You don't want to do it. You will have to do it. But it's like a nightmare. A nightmare isn't going to hurt you unless you fall out of bed trying to get away from it. So don't try to get away from it. Take it head on. Yes, you don't really want to do it, but if you face it directly, it's going to be so much easier than you think. You're going to find that what worry you have about it is not necessary, and that in fact the underlying cards are extremely good. And let's draw 3 more cards for Black. And we've drawn the Four of Wands, the Moon, and the Five of Cups. And this is interesting in that, again, we have 2 very good cards and another one. So the Four of Wands is achieving what you've worked for. It's being in a good position, being in a place you've strived to achieve, very positive. The moon, to me, is a very positive card. It has to do with spirituality, has to do with magic, it has to do with bringing your spirituality into your life. And we have the Five of Cups, which says, you're not going to be happy with some of the situations unfolding, but overall, everything is going to be good. So when you have to deal with that situation, yeah, I can't say you'll be happy about it, but your situations are actually going to be good. So take stock of the good things that you have and don't be distracted by the bad. And with that, we have the Tower as our final card, and the Tower is profound change and growth. And to me, the Tower is a very positive card. You can see the image is of the soul breaking free from its incarnations, which are represented as the Tower. It's breaking free from restraint. By the time you come to the end of this period, you're going to not only be in a good, strong situation, but you're going to feel much freer and much more able to do what you really want to do. Some of those changes may not be changes you want to undertake at this time, but undertaking them is going to be very good for you and will carry you forward into a much better situation. So don't worry about them. Take them head on, and it's not the problem you think it is. Don't know what it is, but I suspect you probably do, or will soon. And again, you might have a lot of worry about it, but you don't need to. And if you deal with it head on, it will be so much easier than you think it is. And then Deb in the chat room has asked for a general reading as well. So let us do a general reading for Deb. And once again, we're actually shuffling the cards. You can see them being shuffled. And Blair says, I'm not sure what it is right now, but I will think on it and meditate on it. And thank you very much. Thank you, Blair. It may not be obvious just yet, but like I said, don't let it freak you out. Just take it by the handlebars. You'll be fine. So for Deb, our first card is King of Wands, followed by the Ten of Coins, followed by Time. So the King of Wands is passion. And the King of Wands is feeling passionately about what you do, being fully engaged, and being at a point in life where you're fully living, not just existing. Ten of Coins is prosperity, happy home, happy situations. So I think overall, very good situations for them. And then we have Time. And time can do so much, as the song says. And I would say that certain things that are happening, like an earlier reading, are just going to take the time that they need. Be patient. Time is patience. Time is knowing that everything grows, blooms, decays, starts again. Be patient with the process. So again, a lot of passion, happy situation, be patient with the process, it's moving slowly. Let's draw three more. Princess of Coins, King of Coins, Queen of Coins, and you saw me shuffle this deck. And I'm not drawing them from the same part of the deck, and yet here they are. The court cards of the suit of coins. Obviously, a very intentional message from the cards. And what do they mean? First thing they mean is money and prosperity. So I would look for you to be in a situation where you have considerable prosperity. Things may not be moving as quickly as you like, but that doesn't mean they're in a bad place. Princess of Coins is holding back for some reason. You could move forward faster if you wanted to, but you don't want to. And there could be any number of reasons for that, but I'm not perceiving that as negative in this case, so much as intentional. So take your time. Move as you wish to move. There's no rush. Be as patient as you want to be. King of Coins, ability to make money. Ability to make good decisions about money. Queen of Coins, money and prosperity, good fortune, good situation. So overall, what I'm seeing is that you should savor the moment. It's going to be a good moment, and we're talking 6 months to a year. Things aren't going to be moving very quickly, but you don't necessarily want them to. Watch for the good things, savor the good things, let them be the good things. And we're going to draw another card for you. And I've drawn the Six of Cups. The Six of Cups is memories of the past influences. Sometimes it's people out of the past, sometimes it's situations that are taking a similar turn to the past. But it's saying, look to your past for guidance. And as you see the future resembling the past, consider how you handled these situations the last time you faced them. And if it worked out well, then do what you did before. And if it didn't, try something new. I'm going to draw another card because I can't help myself. We've drawn the final court card for the suit of coins, the Prince of Coins, which is slow but steady growth. So again, I wouldn't look for anything to move quickly, but I would look for everything to be in a good place. So enjoy the moment, savor the moment. And, and that's what Deb says. Ha, 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 ha. Obviously, she recognizes, or I would assume she's saying she recognizes what has been said. And it's certainly, I mean, getting all 4 court cards from any one suit after you've thoroughly shuffled the deck and drawing them from different places, if you doubt that this works, I mean, I would say that's a demonstration. It's random, but nothing is really random. Spirit is moving. But of course I believe that because I'm a practicing psychic and a witch and all of this good stuff. So, if we have anyone else looking for a reading, did I miss anyone? No one else is asking for, oh, yes, they are. Hello to Sir Laurie in the chat room. Sir Laurie is asking for a general reading. So we will do a general reading for Sir Laurie. And Beverly is also asking for a reading, and I'll be happy to do that after Monday. You know, I know some people don't like short form readings like this. I've always enjoyed it. If I'm a Gemini, I would. When I was in Salem, we offered 5-minute readings as a sample so that people could see if they wanted something larger. But there were people who were just aghast at the idea of a 5-minute reading. What can you get from that? The reality is I was getting from that so much people didn't need the longer readings because I know how to get in and get out. And the cards were cooperating. And Diane would also like a general reading. And actually, I remember Diane did ask earlier. So for Laurie, let us draw 3 cards. And our first card is the Four of Wands, achieving what you've worked for. Success, getting that goal that you have pursued. With the Six of Wands, which is victory, victory over whatever may have blocked you. And the Hangman, which says that, yeah, not there yet. It's coming. Hold on. Just swing from that rope for a while, like Odin waiting for the runes. But you're coming up on that victory you desire. And let's draw 3 more. We've drawn the Moon, the Prince of Cups, and the Two of Swords. So, as you go forward, the Moon says use your magic, use your higher self, use your connection to the universe. Draw on that. Do not be a passive participant in the creation of your universe. The Prince of Cups says to express your emotions. Feel the things you're experiencing. Express them. Do not bottle them up. And the Two of Swords says that you'll be working with another person or multiple other people in what it is that you're going to be having the success in. I could guess what it probably is, but I could be wrong. And that doesn't matter. You don't need me to guess. But success is on its way. Let me draw one more card for you. We've drawn the Hermit. And to me, the Hermit, I think it came out of the Aradia deck, the phrase, the archetypal modern New Age witch or shaman. Pardon me. And Laurie says, I'm guessing the same, and this has to do with the Parliament of the World's Religions. I'm sure that many of us will be meeting at quite soon. The final card is the Hermit, the archetypal New Age witch or shaman, personal strength, personal ability, personal power. And so being very much in your element, being in your strength. So very positive. And let us do a short reading for Beverly, and then we'll read for Diana. Now, I apologize because sometimes I do miss something that may have been said, but we will get to everyone. If I missed you the first time, just say it. Remind me again. So let us draw 3 cards for Beverly. We can't say I did not shuffle these. First card is the Veil. Second card is the Queen of Wands. Third card is the Hanged Man. So the Veil, again, is misplaced worry. As you go forward in the next few months, Beverly, you may find yourself worrying. Let us draw a card for what you might be worried about. No, worried about the Emperor's cycles. Things go up, they come down. You may feel like things are not moving in the cycle you really wish to be in, that things are not going the way you want them to. But you really don't need to worry about it in the way that you are. And because, in part, right with it, is the Queen of Wands. And the Queen of Wands is prosperity, success, good things. And the ability to stand on your own 2 feet. And so whatever you might be worrying about, whatever might not seem like it's going well, you're actually going to be doing just fine. But you may, again, feel like it's taking its time. And that might be why you have worry, that it may seem like things aren't moving as quickly as you would like. But they're in a good place. So let them take their time. With that, we have the Four of Cups, the Empress, and the Moon. And the Four of Cups, again, is saying, you may feel like not everything is the way you want it. but what is there is good. So take stock of the good and don't worry what might not be there, but worry about what is there. Worry about the good things that are right there in your hand. The moon is using your spirituality, allowing you to inform your life, using your magic, using your higher self, acting from that part of yourself. And the Empress, again, prosperity. You'll be in a good situation. So make sure that you're taking stock of the good things around you and enjoying them. And hello to Michael in the chat room. And let's draw one last card for Beverly. And we've drawn the Nine of Swords. And we've dealt with this card already in this hour. And we are nearing the end of the hour, so we've done a number of readings. It's not surprising that we should be seeing similar cards. The Nine of Swords says that whatever you are worried about, you will have to deal with. But as long as you deal with it head on, it's going to be fine. Just don't try to get away from it. Don't try to hide from it. Take it by the horns, deal with it directly. It'll be easily resolved. Much more than you're thinking. Try to hide from it, try to avoid it, it'll get worse. But deal with it head on, it will not. And the basic situation is still good anyway. So let's draw one more. We have justice. And justice, it says that in the end, you'll get what you've worked for. In the end, you will get the reward of your effort. So the effort that you may find yourself putting out, it will be rewarded. It just, again, may take its time. And whatever you perhaps don't really wish to deal with, you'll need to deal with it, but you're more than able to deal with it. It need not be a problem. Don't make it a problem. Deal with it right up front. And now Diane. And once again, we will shuffle our cards. You know, I was talking earlier about fan shuffling. I've never been good at it. It's harder with tarot cards anyway because they're larger than most playing cards. Beverly says, thank you so very much. Thank you, Beverly. This is just my preferred way to shuffle. But I do realize that one can probably shuffle them faster by the fan method, but it's not my method. So for a moment, you must be bored with me shuffling cards. And now let us draw 3 cards for Diane. We did have one card fall out, and I will be using that in the reading. But first we have the Veil, which has come up again. We have the 7 of Coins, which we're seeing for the first time this evening, and the Prince of Cups. So these are saying, again, avoid unnecessary worry, but you know, I can't help but wonder if some of the worry that we're seeing in several different readings may have to do with the state of the world. We all know there's a lot going on. Don't worry about what you can't help. Understand that this is a card of misplaced worry. When we talk about the 9 of Swords, that's not misplaced worry. It's exaggerated, perhaps. It's depending on how you react to the situation, but it's not misplaced. This says there really is no reason to worry. And don't allow it to come to you. Don't let the outside world get you down. Focus on the good things around you. The 7 of Coins says that you really are considering the possibilities of your future. And building for that future. And you may feel like you're kind of sitting back at the moment, but you're really preparing. And the Prince of Cups says, again, to savor the moment, to Experience your emotions, to express your emotions, do not repress them. Enjoy the things that are enjoyable. Experience the things that you are doing. Now, the card that fell out is the Five of Swords, which is feeling that things aren't where you want them. So I'm going to have to say that in this next 6 months, you may not feel entirely that you're where you want to be. But I'm going to say again, the worry that may be causing that, I think, is ephemeral. It's not really about the situation. And let's draw another card for what the Five of Swords means. We've drawn the Queen of Wands, which is prosperity. Let's draw a couple more. Three of Coins, Two of Swords, and the Ace of Coins. So the Queen of Wands, as we've talked about previously, is prosperity, being able to stand on your own 2 feet, being in a good independent situation. The Three of Coins is mastery of craft, being in a position where you can do what you want to do, where you have the skill to do what you want to do. It's also a card of prosperity. Ace of Coins is just plain money. So as you go forward during this period, you may find yourself focused on career situations, and I would look for those to be doing very well. And another person may be involved in your situations who is helping you, and who you may find yourself working with. And let's draw a couple more for Diane. We've drawn the Five of Lamps, the Seven of Wands, and the Hermit. And the Five of Lamps is really seeking direction, moving out in new directions, but also looking for what those directions need to be. So I think you're going to find yourself really looking at different possibilities during this time. You may feel like you're working uphill a little bit, but as we were just saying, there's a lot of prosperity, a lot of good things around you, and every reason to think things will go well. And the Hermit, again, is personal ability, personal power, and a good card of success. So there you go. I hope you find that helpful. And then Jonah has asked for one card for direction. So let us shuffle the cards and draw one card for Jonah. And as a person who just keeps drawing cards, drawing just one is always difficult for me, but since that's what we've asked for, that's what we'll do. You know, over the years, I've used many different tarot decks. Now I use the deck of my own design. But it's interesting to see how different their feeling can be, one deck versus another. Hello to Tina in the chat. Also interesting to see the different quality of different decks. I had one deck long ago, the Arthurian Tarot. I thought it was a beautiful tarot. After 6 months of use in psychic fairs, it was degrading quickly. Whereas the Morgan Greer deck that I have dates from at least 40 years ago, has been used heavily throughout that time, still just as good as it ever was. So a lot depends on how well they were made. So one card for Jonah. And Diane says, thank you, I can understand the message. Sometimes in life, there are situations we need to live through. I guess I need to see my cups as half full instead of half empty. Gratitude. Yes, exactly. So for Jonah, we've drawn the Hierophant, spiritual guidance. Listen to your guidance, attune to your guidance, pay attention to your higher power, who will give you the guidance that you need. And that is your one card for guidance. And well, certainly from my point of view, having spent so many years in a priestly profession, it's a great card to get. Your mileage may vary, I don't know, but that guidance is always there for us tune into it. It will help you. It will lead you. And that is what this card is recommending. And with that, I see that we have come almost to the end of our hour. I want to thank you for joining me. I hope you've enjoyed this Tarot Thursday and that you will join Reverend Mary Hawk next week for Tarot Thursday when she returns. And I hope that you've had a good time. Again, if you'd be interested in a longer reading from me, you can write to me at donlewishp@aol.com and set one up, or you can instant message me through Facebook or Instagram. And I'm always available for readings. I love doing readings. I took many years of not doing them often, so it's interesting to be back to it. But back to it I am. And I hope you've enjoyed this hour. I enjoyed it. And does anyone have a last question before we go? Why don't I draw 3 cards for the world as a whole in the next, let's say 6 months? Our first card is the Prince of Swords. Second card is Magic. And the third card is the 8 of Wands. And Lynn says, "You are so nice to listen to. Thank you, sir." And thank you, Lynn. That's very kind of you. So the Prince of Swords speaking to the state of the world says, pay attention to what you need. Don't get caught up in everything else. Pay attention to your personal needs and do not put them on a back burner. Make sure you're getting what you want from your situations. When I first started reading, I understood the Prince of Swords as a negative card, but I came to realize when this card comes, it often means the people who get it aren't paying attention to their own needs. And it says that you must do so. Have a little healthy selfishness. Next we have Magic. And magic is the chaos moment. It means everything is possible, which is very interesting when we're reading for the world. In that moment when everything is possible, what do? Well, you do what you wish to do. You do what you choose to do, and you should make it as conscious as you possibly can. And then we have the 8 of Wands, which is things happening quickly. So I think we're going to see things happen very fast in the world. I think the news is kind of pointing to that. We have the Parliament of World's Religions about to occur. A lot of things could move forward very suddenly. We have so unstable situations in the world. We have unstable situations in our backyard. They may move forward suddenly, but the answer for us is to focus on our own lives and our own needs and to use our ability to create our world to make the world that we want. Let's draw 3 more, shall we? We have the 6 of Wands, the 5 of Cups, and Justice. And the 6 of Wands is victory, and it's getting something you have worked for. The 5 of Cups is sorrow or unhappiness with the situation, feeling it's not what you really want it to be, which is an interesting 2 cards to get together. And Justice is getting what you've worked for. And when we're talking about the world, that's an interesting combination. Victory and sorrow. Probably the same event, because one person's victory is often another person's sorrow. Justice, getting what we work for. What have we worked for as humans? Have we worked for what we really wanted? Whatever we work for is what we're likely to get. So hopefully we've made the right choices. Let's draw 1 more card. Heart. And heart is emotion. And this is a time, hopefully, of emotional healing. Certainly of high emotional states. Let's draw another one. And the 4 of Swords. Together with the Tower. The 4 of Swords and the Tower. The 4 of Swords is a timeout period. The Tower is sudden change. Things are going to change very suddenly and yet also move very slowly. And what does that mean? I think it means that there'll be sudden change, but change is the constant in life. It's great change and stasis at the same time. We always have change. One more. Yeah, they're not going to tell us anything more. They give us the King of Wands, which is passion. So there we are. It will be a time we'll all feel passionate about. So with that, we have come to the end of our hour. I hope you have enjoyed Tarot Thursday for this week. Thank you for joining us. Join us again next week when Rev Mary Hawk will be back. And until next time, may you bless and be. And thank you all.